Hello, I'm Kelly Fitzgerald. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about signs. How do you recognize them? How do you know it's really a sign? How do you find out what that sign means? Um, I get questions about this all the time, really. And the basic thing that I tell people is if you are really feeling that it is a sign, it's probably a sign. Otherwise, take animals. I work a lot with animals, so people are always talking to me about animal signs. If you keep seeing the same animal over and over and over, whether it is a hawk that continually appears, or a bobcat in my area, or some other animal, um, a stray cat comes to mind, and you make eye contact with that animal, or otherwise that animal feels different than if you would just see a normal, hawk or cat or whatever it is, that's probably an animal that is was sent to you to give you a sign. Now, how do you decipher that sign? Um, the easiest thing is to Google what that animal appearing in your life means. You can also intuit that, and I encourage people to do that. In the case of it, like a stray cat, you can say, "What is this cat trying to tell me? What do cats represent to me?" Because we are all different. And what a cat means to me is very different than what it would mean to other people. So you have to add your own personality into the mix. You have to say, okay, well, most people say it's this, but I'm not resonating with that. I think it's this. So develop your own intuition with animals, especially. Numbers, people are always talking about numbers, whether it's angel numbers, divine numbers, whatever you want to call them. If you are seeing the same numbers over and over and over again, look up what they mean. Look up what it means to you as well inside yourself. I have a client who is one of three. She was a triplet. And when she sees the number 333, it doesn't necessarily mean what Google will tell you the angel number 333 means. To her, it means she needs to reach out to her other two siblings. So put your own personality into the mix. What resonates with you is what's important for you. Generally speaking, Google's pretty accurate. A lot of people have a lot of great information online, and it's really easy these days, anyway, to figure out what those numbers mean. If you see the same number over and over and over and over, for instance, if you're waking up every night at 2:22 or 4:44 and it's consistent night after night, look up what those numbers mean. It is a message for you. One thing that I always kind of chuckle about is when I'm doing an intuitive medium reading, when I'm connecting someone with their loved ones who have crossed over. And they will tell me, "I really wish they'd give me a sign. I really wish they'd come visit." And then I talk to them a little bit and I find out they are getting signs. In a lot of cases, our departed loved ones will send us butterflies, are very common. Hummingbirds are very common. A flower blooming out of season is actually very common. Lights flickering is very common. In one instance, a client was telling me that she was telling me about the tree that she and her father had planted when she was a teenager, and how she really wished he would come through. And she looks at that tree and she thinks of him. And one day she looked at the tree and it was swaying wildly. And it's still a young tree, obviously, but it was swaying, and there was no wind, and none of the other trees around it were swaying, and she just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, that's your father giving you a sign that he is there, and he is acknowledging that you look at that tree and you think of him. So signs are all around us. Sometimes it's running into someone you haven't seen in a long time, or thinking about, "I wish I had someone to help me with whatever it is." This happened to me not that long ago. I wish I had someone that could really help me and switch out this broken ceiling fan for the new one that has been sitting in my hallway for about a year. And the very next day I went to the post office, met this handyman who was handing out cards, and that is one of the things that he did, was ceiling fans. So that was definitely a sign. Use this person. When you ask for a sign, be prepared to receive one. Be open to receiving a sign. Don't get freaked out by it. If you are, and this is really, really, really common with people who want to connect to a departed loved one. I want a sign, I want a sign, I want a sign. And then they get the sign and they freak out and they're afraid. And then they're probably not going to get another sign for a long time. Nobody wants to scare you. Your loved ones on the other side do not want to frighten you at all. So if you are asking them for a sign, be open to receiving it. Don't let it freak you out. It happens so often where people will get scared and then they shut down and then they're not going to see any signs. And honestly, your departed loved one who doesn't want to frighten you at all is probably not going to give you another sign for a while. So keep that in mind as well. Um, I hope this has been helpful. I hope it answered your questions. You can message me through my website. The link will be below the video. Please also take a look at and support the Laylee Project. It is my passion project. It's really, really important to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, comment on it. I respond to all the comments. Share the channel, share the video. It really, really, really does help me, and I really, really appreciate it. So that'll do it for me right now. Till next time, bye.